You guys know that I love sports media way more than sports. Sports media, I mean, I love all kinds of media, but sports media just does it for me. Just some grown-ass men arguing.
Getting emotional.
Being so emotional. Talk about an escape. Giant grown-ass men arguing about 20-something-year-old people playing games, and they're arguing so hard you can see the veins in their neck about to explode. I think it's just the greatest thing on radio, television, the internet. It's the best. I love it. I love sports media. I love people arguing. I love the whole thing.
It's one of the few things that unites us these days.
Sports media. That's right. That's right. It's the one, although, everything tries to get politicized. And this is usually, every now and then they mess up, but this is usually the one place where we can just go and go, boom, here we are. So this is one of the great shows, sports shows, arguing shows. And that's the other thing. That's the whole format of sports media now. It used to be like, the revolutionary thing was the guy on the radio by himself, and callers would call up. And they'd go, hey, what do you think if they got a new coach? A new coach? What are you, stupid? And they'd yell at the callers. And you'd just sit there and you'd listen. And you're like, this is fantastic. Now they go, well, we don't always trust the callers. So what if we put this on television and we just had two guys argue with each other about sports for a couple hours. And then after that, we'll get two other guys to argue with each other about sports for a couple hours. And we'll just have them argue until one of the games starts. And you're like, yeah, that sounds...
Yes.
That sounds awesome. So, Shannon Sharpe here, Unk, and we followed Unk. He's also the guy that we saw in the airport famously, who wanted a guy to just stop filming him. For real? Yeah. And then just kept filming him. Right. So, there has been a tension between here, Skip Bayless, who, is the antithesis of a healthy athlete here in this photo. It's not a great photo, but next to Shannon Sharpe, who is exactly everywhere he goes, he looks like he's posing for the cover of an album. He's an incredible looking man.
3-time Super Bowl champ.
That's right.
Hall of Famer.
There's a tension that exists between these two, and that's part of it, right? Hot Dog, you're right, to bring up his athletic credentials. And that's part of the joy of sports media, right? That this dude has sitting here, and he's been on the field in the elite space. And then you got Skip Bayless over here, who's never done any of that. And they're arguing sports in such a condescending way that Skip is going like, you don't even know what you're talking about. And he's like, motherfucker, I'm the guy. I did the thing that you talk about. And still, all the Skip and the Skips, people that are like Skip are going like, yeah, but what do you know? You're just an athlete. It's great. It's great. That's the vibe. I love it. I think they're great together.
The closest equivalent would be you to wrestling.
Yeah, but I haven't gotten
reporter, writer.
I haven't quite gotten to the point yet where I'm arguing with wrestlers about wrestling, but it would be a great show. If it was just so
cocky for no reason.
Just a condescending, like a wrestler who's like imagine how different the John Cena interview would have been if he was like, the point of the business is to pay it forward. No, it isn't, John. That's not the point. People like you have been saying that ever since you started, but that's not the point of the business is to make money. And John, if you're not making money, you're not doing the business. Let's go to the calls. It's
how long have you been watching wrestling, John?
Yeah. Did you watch the product before you perform, John? Anyway, let's go to the calls. It'd be great. It'd be great. That's what we're missing. Just to know it all.
Honestly,
but I also think Shannon Sharpe kind of comes from the world of I can punch people. You can't, there's a great equalizer here, but you can't punch people on television. You see, when you're doing a talk show, you can't punch people. And guys like Skip, they know that. So they can cross that line without a problem. And I guess some people don't like it. Shannon Sharpe, it was announced, has gotten a buyout. Fox and Shannon have figured out a buyout situation where they're going to let Unk out of his contract. He's going to be able to take his podcast with him. He's leaving Drip with no co-host. And we'll see where he goes next. It's a big coup, I think, for a lot of people in the sports media space. Shannon Sharpe is a big get for another network for sure. People love that dude. And it's a big question.
ESPN is calling. They got to be, right?
Well, yeah, unless they spent all their money on McAfee already. There's none left.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, and even I think Stephen A. Smith was talking about the fact that he has no say, because Stephen A. Smith does First Take. He has no say over who gets to co-host with him on First Take unless they work for ESPN. So if they work for ESPN, Stephen A. can go like, I want this guy, I want that guy. But he can't go and ask for people from outside ESPN, right? Like new hires. So who knows? Maybe that's a spot for him to land. Maybe a new company picks him up, gives him a ton of money to be the anchor of some new sports media company. All the streamers are looking for live content now. I mean, I think the world is his oyster. But what I've got to
build around Shannon Sharpe.
100% you could build around Shannon Sharpe. Just put that face on. Everybody wants to go see what Unc is up to. Everyone. But what I couldn't believe was the amount of people. Not just that it was being said, because obviously it was being said. But the fact that it was like, it went without saying almost. There was no opinion other than, oh, I know why Shannon Sharpe left. A lot of times when these media empires crumble, you go, oh, what happened there? A lot of times when duos who host shows together, when they fall apart, you go, oh, what happened there? Oh, why would he want out of the contract? Why wouldn't he want to do the show anymore? Nobody's asking that question. I haven't heard that question raised once. People who don't even know are like, yeah, I mean, you got to assume it's because Skip Bayless is a dick, right? Like everyone. Like I don't even know how to exist if I'm Skip Bayless. And it's just like, no matter who's talking about this, it's almost taken for granted that he's leaving because he doesn't like him. And he doesn't like him to the extent that he's going, you got to let me out of this contract. Now, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't bother Skip Bayless because people don't know, or at least the last that I read, nobody knows exactly how much money Shannon Sharpe is getting for this buyout. You know, he's not just quitting. He's out of his contract, but he's getting at least some of the money that he would have gotten going through. I can't imagine that Fox has just given him the whole contract because I don't know why they would do that.
Right.
But they've negotiated some kind of buyout. Apparently, Skip Bayless's last deal was a 4-year deal for $32 million. $32 million. That's how much. I mean, I got to start watching some of these games and coming up with hot takes because clearly these numbers they're throwing around for sports media is insane. $32 million. I guarantee you in 365 days, if I put my mind to it, I could watch enough games that I could be Skip. You know, I could fill that role.
Just a season. You just need a season
One
to kind of
season
get
of each.
familiar
Give me
with the
one
product.
season of each. I know enough. I know the basics, and I know how to do a show. So put all that together, and I'll get there. Plus, if people realize, if there's like literally tape of me from very recently saying I don't watch sports, and now I'm on television talking down to athletes, going like, "You're wrong. You're totally wrong." That's so obnoxious. That's awful. But it's
They're
great.
gonna be like, they're gonna pull that clip up. Like, this you?
I mean, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. I don't know. If you're gonna bring up old tape, you're gonna bring that's not even what we're talking about here. Will you take this seriously? But yeah, so 32 million. Skip is, I guess, going to stay. I don't know who's going to co-host with him. Now, they're expected to keep the show going until after the NBA Finals. So there's still going to be more episodes of Undisputed. I don't know if those are going to be weird. I don't know if they're just going to plow past them. I don't know if Shannon Sharpe is going to be kind of half-assed in, get some of that senioritis going on. Senior year of high school, especially the second half. It's like Shannon Sharpe just got his college acceptance letter. And then his high school principal is like, but you're still going to take high school seriously, right? Yeah, buddy. Of course I will. Yeah, sure.
You still got a month left.
You still got a month.
You
A
lot can happen.
Sure. A lot can happen. Yeah. Yeah, they're going to keep him through the NBA Finals. I'm surprised they didn't even try to stop this from leaking, unless they did and they just couldn't. Charles Barkley had a theory. Go ahead.
I was saying Skip is going to be just fine because I'm sure there's a lot of charismatic former athletes out there that would die to be in that position with Skip. Because Skip is kind of like a kingmaker. He kind of made Shannon Sharpe.
It's money.
You know, when it comes to...
It's a giant show. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be the... I
think he's responsible for Stephen A. Smith, too.
Yeah, you could argue that for sure. You don't want to be the first person after Shannon, though.
No.
Right? You gotta get some, maybe they get some floaters in there. They get some fill-ins for a while until they land on somebody. Just because you never want to just throw somebody else in the seat and go like, okay, now he's the new guy, business as usual, because people are gonna miss Shannon. But Charles Barkley commented on it. Believe it or not, Charles Barkley usually doesn't get involved with stuff like this, but he commented on it.
I did find, you know, I don't do social media, so I get all my information off Bleacher Report. I read an article today.
You read something?
I did.
Okay.
If you work with a damn idiot, they'll buy you out. So
I don't know what he was talking about there.
No clue.
Buy you out. So if you, I'm saying, I read it. I thought. Chuck, I'm just saying. I'm telling you.
How good is Shaq? Chuck. What are you doing, Chuck?
Shaq, it's not you. It's not you. It's not you. It's not Ernie. It's Kenny. But apparently, if you work with a damn idiot, they'll buy you out. Okay. So I just want y'all to know I'm open to the buyout.
Charles Barkley trying to get himself a buyout.
Thank God we still have Inside the NBA.
That's the best show on television. It's the best. I don't even watch games. I just watch Inside the NBA. For Barkley and Shaq. I mean, all four of them are great. Got to call him a damn idiot and ask for a buyout in the same 30 seconds. There's also a video that just floated. I think it was maybe on I don't remember if it was Rich Eisen. It was Dan Patrick. It was on the Dan Patrick show. Charles Barkley was on the Dan Patrick show, and he was telling Dan Patrick that if he found out that he had a disease that was going to kill him, he said if he found out he was going to die, he would kill Skip Bayless. But only if he knew he was going to die. He said he doesn't want to go to jail. He does not want to go to jail. But if he had a disease, he would kill Skip Bayless.
He's taking him with him.
Yeah. So.